Welcome to this latest episode of the Duncan Cartledge Online podcast, the online resource for all construction professionals. Duncan Cartledge Online offers more than 9 hours of video presentations that are available 24/7 for just £7 a month. Please remember to subscribe to your usual podcast provider so you don't miss out on any updates, and be sure to visit our YouTube channel for additional content. It's great to have you with us again for another episode. And as always, I'm joined by Barney, my red Labrador, who helps keep an eye on things and occasionally offers some invaluable advice. Now, both Barney and I would be delighted if you could take a moment to write a review, because your feedback does mean a lot to us. If this is your first time listening to Duncan Cartledge Online podcast, welcome. Please remember to subscribe and catch up on the previous episodes. To our existing subscribers, thank you very much for your continued support. Please help us by spreading the word. In this jam-packed episode, Barney and I will be looking at Get It Right First Time, if only, and AI in the dock. So, let's kick off with Get It Right First Time. The UK construction industry generates a lot of waste. At least 5 million tonnes of construction waste ends up in landfill sites across the UK every year. However, some of the waste is unavoidable, and that is waste due to errors. Across the construction industry, errors are estimated to cost up to £25 billion annually, or around 21% of total project value, according to the Get It Right initiative, driven by a relentless focus on low-cost procurement and inconsistent competence standards. These continue to undermine quality and compliance across projects of all sizes. To try to improve this situation, back in 2015, the Get It Right initiative, or GIRI, was launched out of discussions at the Institution of Civil Engineers Best Practice Panel. The initiative was led by a number of major construction companies, clients, and the CITB, with the aim of significantly reducing errors in construction. Get It Right was established to address the systemic causes of construction errors identified through earlier industry research. It developed training in collaboration with the CITB and other sector partners. Incidentally, GIRI's definition of an error is any action or inaction that results in a requirement for rework, a requirement for extra work, or produces a defect. Errors can occur across the whole construction life cycle, from upstream process, including raw materials, processing and manufacturing, through to construction, commissioning and handover. Inadequate planning is the single biggest cause of construction errors by value, according to a new report from the CITB and the Get It Right initiative, as characterised by poorly coordinated design, poor communication and late design changes, accounting for roughly 75% of costs associated with defects. While the industry has made some progress, significant challenges remain. Subsequent research identified that other causes of errors were poor culture in relation to quality in many firms, inadequate attention paid in the design to construction, resulting in details that are difficult to build, excessive commercial and financial time pressures resulting in cutting corners to meet deadlines, poor interface management and design, linked with ineffective communication between team members, the so-called silo mentality. Inadequate supervisory skills resulting in poorly qualified personnel being left to their own devices. Now, we all know that there's a massive skill shortage in the construction industry, and we have all read of the experiences of new build buyers, often under the headline New Build Hell. About 12 months ago, I wrote a blog because I learned that the skills shortage is so acute, it's resulting in the quality of new build workmanship being so poor, and there's a growing demand for snagging inspectors. These are individuals who earn their living by inspecting new build houses, looking for patent defects, and drawing up snagging lists. And would you believe there's even a National Association of Professional Snagging Inspectors? Check out their website. At the time of my blog, the website was still under development, but fast forward 12 months, the site is now complete, and the National Association is offering corporate membership no less. Snagging inspectors will charge homeowners around £350 to £800, depending on the size of the property, to prepare a snagging list in the hope that they can have their dream home made good. It certainly is a sign of the times, but some would say it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Only last week, Construction Inquirer reported that Gleeson Homes had discovered faults on legacy jobs in Yorkshire. This will cost up to £7.1 million to put right. Putting theory and research into action. The findings of the Get It Right initiative is based on a 26-month programme involving major contractors such as Kier, Taylor Woodrow and BAM, which tested the impact of GIRI's error reduction training across 25 UK construction projects with a collective value of £942 million. In total, 4,575 delegates were trained during the programme. Now, it's always problematic trying to validate the outcomes of training programmes such as this, but the Get It Right initiative claimed the participants estimated that £92 million worth of errors were avoided because of the training. This equates to 9.83% of the total project value. Now, as encouraging as these results are, rolling out this initiative over the whole industry will be another matter. As always, reaching out to smaller builders and SMEs with new initiatives has always been a problem. The programme, backed by CITB funding, enabled Kier, Taylor Woodrow, BAM and Volker Stephen to become the first 4 employers to go through the process of becoming Get It Right approved training providers, and to deliver error reduction training by targeting skills gaps amongst the construction industry supervisors, managers and leadership teams. And it's clear there needs to be a major culture shift by clients, contractors, designers and the supply chain to solve this problem. And on the same theme, I think that we need to ask the question, just how competent are Tier 1 contractors? In a previous podcast, I discussed the image of the construction industry, for which many is typified by dodgy cowboy builders. You know, the ones you stand next to in the Screwfix counter at 7:30 on a wet Tuesday morning. Guidance from the Industry Task and Finish Group on the management and competence in organisations is due for publication shortly. Managing competence in the built environment aims to help organisations in the built environment develop and strengthen the ways they plan, manage, monitor and evidence competence. It aims to put the Industry Competence Committee's 15 Principles of Competence Management into practice. The ICC was formed under the Building Safety Act 2022 with a remit to provide strategic leadership and assistance to improve competence across the built environment, advising both the building safety regulator and the industry. It has particular focus on high-rise buildings. It is hoped that the guidance can help organisations reframe high-level expectations around competency to proportionate arrangements across different stakeholders. The guidance recognises that competency extends beyond individual responsibility and must also be supported by organisational factors such as leadership, governance, proportionate procedures, proper supervision, procurement, continuous development and suitable assurance. It is designed to be adaptable and provide straightforward arrangements for small and medium-sized organisations. While this new initiative is promising, it currently serves only as guidance standards, rather than a legal requirement. A recent article in Building Magazine highlighted that building projects are no longer managed solely by architects working independently. Instead, delivery involves a diverse group of consultants, contractors, specialists, suppliers, and client teams, reflecting the increased complexity of modern construction and the necessity for close collaboration. As project delivery becomes more fragmented, it's crucial to establish clear roles, responsibilities, decision-making authority, and accountability for any issues that arise. Unfortunately, these distinctions are often insufficiently defined. When things go badly wrong, the gaps begin to show. Responsibility suddenly becomes harder to pin down. Decisions seem to have been moved around the team without anybody fully owning them. Risks have been passed on, priced in, or pushed sideways, and never really resolved. Hopefully, the golden thread recommended initially by Dame Judith Hackett in her 2018 report, Building a Safer Future, will improve the audit trail. For contractors wishing to prove their competence, the CIOB has introduced a Principal Contractor Competence Certification Scheme based on PAS 8672. Now, to be realistic, sending 1 or 2 contract managers on a certification course is not going to solve the problem, as no one individual can be expected to possess the full range of competences given the breadth and the complexity of modern building work. It remains to see how the industry responds to these frameworks. And now a cross-party group of MPs has warned the government risks squandering a once-in-a-generation opportunity if it fails to safeguard quality as it seeks to deliver 1.5 million new homes. In a new report, Proud to Call Home, the all-party parliamentary group for excellence in the built environment set out recommendations for government and industry to raise standards in the design and construction of new homes by setting a minimum number of inspections by building inspectors and warranty providers during the construction, and mandating a soft landings approach and greater post-occupancy evaluation. Not since the Ronan Point disaster in 1968, when an early morning gas explosion caused the collapse of the entire northeast corner of a newly opened 22-storey block of flats in Newham, East London, has attention been focused on the widespread use of poorly designed housing and dodgy construction practice. 2 cladding fitters who had worked on the Grenfell project admitted that the quality of some of the work was shocking and unacceptable. 19 organisations and 58 individuals are currently under investigation over the Grenfell fire, but it will be late 2026 before any criminal prosecutions begin, and no defendants will appear in court until 2027. Turn back the clock to 1968 and Ronan Point, where it was subsequently discovered that bolts that were supposed to hold the panels in place were either missing or damaged. It seems as though little has changed. And finally, as technology, and particularly AI, becomes more embedded in safety-critical and high-hazard environments, assurance must keep pace. Reducing errors in construction also means reducing the risks of errors introduced by the tools themselves. And now UK construction disputes have been identified as particularly well suited to AI facilitation. In March 2026, the RICS Professional Global Standard, Responsible Use of Artificial Intelligence in Surveying Practice, came into force. Global standards are mandatory for RICS members and RICS regulated firms. In other words, you must comply, as any breach could result in regulatory and disciplinary proceedings and being put on the naughty step. So, serious stuff. The standard sets a high bar. For example, RICS regulated firms using AI systems that have a material impact on the delivery of the surveying services, which I presume can include drafting contract documentation, reports, technical data, and other documentation, must create and operate a risk register that documents overarching risks associated with using AI, including inherent bias in the AI system and its outputs, erroneous outputs from the AI system, limitations to the quantity and quality of information available regarding the AI system and its underlying training data, and retention and/or use of data inputted by the firm into the AI system. In addition, the risk register must be reviewed and updated at least quarterly by staff at RICS regulated firms who are responsible for making decisions about the firm's use of AI. RICS regulated firms may also choose to use other risk management tools in addition to the risk register, for example a SWOT analysis or a PESTLE framework. And to return to the question of whether AI could play a meaningful role in adjudication by sorting out the volume of cases as well as the increased complexity of adjudication. The American Arbitration Association, through its international division, has launched an AI-assisted arbitration platform designed to streamline dispute resolution while preserving human oversight. You will be relieved to learn that the AI arbiter is not a robot judge. Instead, it operates on a human-in-the-loop model. Parties submit claims and supporting documentation digitally, and the AI system processes the submissions, identifies key issues, applies relevant legal principles, and drafts a proposed award. A trained human arbiter then reviews, revises, and finalizes the award, ensuring legal judgment, fairness, and accountability remains central to the process. While the American model is in its infancy, it'll be interesting to see if AI is introduced into the UK system. And finally, every year a family of swifts make their long and perilous journey from Africa to nest in the eaves of my house, as they have done for over 100 years. It was good to learn this week that Network Rail have been forced to reopen swift nesting sites on a viaduct in Derbyshire, having previously been sealed up. Well, that really is the end. That's all for this episode. I hope that you found it interesting. Thank you for listening right through to the end. Barney and I think that your stamina is world class, and we are still searching for that major prize. This has been another episode from Duncan Cartledge Online, Insights for Construction Professionals. We'd really appreciate it if you'd help us by spreading the word, subscribing, and if you have the time, write a review. Until next time, take care.